So I watched The Contractor, and one thing that I can say is, it's a film. It's definitely a movie. Man. Let's get into it. It is very similar to a million other movies, to the point that, here, let me explain the plot in some very short sentences. Are you ready? No spoilers. Guy is part of military. Guy gets discharged. Guy needs new job. Guy has a very particular set of skills. Guy finds new job. Trouble ensues. That's basically the entire plot of The Contractor. The Contractor is another formulaic, by-the-numbers action movie. Now that being said, though, it's not all bad. Like I said, Chris Pine, he really carries this movie, and his acting is awesome. He is obviously a good actor. He's been in a ton of stuff that I've liked, and he's also been in Here Comes the Night, which is a TV show that almost bored me senseless. So, really makes me wonder why you didn't do better than that, Chris. But shoot, I'm getting sidetracked. There is a scene in this movie with another actor called Ben Foster, and it is a really good scene. And I've seen Ben in other movies, and I've always been pretty impressed by his performance. He has always done really well, and I really like him. I know he's not a household name, but I really like him, especially in this particular scene where it feels like both actors are giving it their all. Now, Chris's part in that scene is more vocal. I mean, he does have some really good expressions, some really good body language, and that definitely does carry the vocals that are coming out of his mouth. But Ben Foster's, his are more expression. His entire performance in that scene is basically just silent expressions. He does try to speak, and he does get stuff out, but for the most part, he's just responding and reacting to what Chris says and what Chris does. And I think that the emotion that they can both convey together and the chemistry they both had in that scene, it was really good. It was amazing. It was a good part in this movie of mediocrity. Speaking of mediocrity, let's talk about the action. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that bad. There's no scenes that I was like, whoa, that's fantastic. Whoa, look at that, mind blown. Yeah, there was none of that. But they were well shot. They weren't cut, foot, face, leg, palm, finger, stupid cutting constantly where everything is incoherent messes like my old 22. It was way better than that. But it was nothing that made me go, wow, these guys are amazing. There was no old boy scene in here. That didn't happen. But it did feel believable, and I did understand what was going on for the most part. Nothing too cringy, nothing too bad, nothing that cut so crazy I can't figure out what's going on. They were shot well. They were pretty. They just didn't really break any boundaries. They weren't anything new. Nothing we've not seen Liam Neeson do a million times over, or Tom Cruise do a million times over. Nothing we haven't seen Matt Damon do a million times over. Nothing that great. And that's a shame because Ben Foster in particular, him and Chris Pine were also on a movie called Hell or High Water. Very underrated. It is a very good movie, and I recommend everybody to go watch it. Just go watch it. They have good chemistry, and they are good in action scenes. They are good together. They work well together, and I would love to see them in another movie, another 3 movies. Doesn't really matter to me. I like them on screen together. So the fact that I know that they're good in action scenes, the fact that I know that they're good in emotional scenes, makes me wonder why they weren't in more scenes together. And Ben Foster is very underrated. He is a good actor. I feel like they didn't utilize him enough, and that's kind of a shame. Well, if we want to get... Nope, I can't do that. That is a spoiler. Shoot. I might make another video with spoilers just because there's some things that I really want to talk about. But for right now, I'm going to avoid it. Gonna bite my tongue. But there is one really big glaring issue I have. In all seriousness, there's one thing that's really bothering me. You have Kiefer Sutherland in your movie, and he barely gets any screen time. What? Kiefer Sutherland! He's in your cast list. He's in your movie. You had him in your movie. Why was the screen time limited? Give me more Kiefer Sutherland. What are you doing? In all seriousness, though, I'm not going to give this movie a glowing recommendation. I'm not going to say, you gotta go out and watch it, or you're missing out. This is going to change film forever. It's really not. It's not a great movie. But, in my opinion, it is above average. There are themes in this movie, there are topics in this movie that it does want to touch on. You can see glimmers on where this movie could have really delved into something risky, really delved into something mature, really delved into something nobody wants to think about, something that is scary. Scary in a realistic sense. But although there are glimpses of that, although there are times when you think, wow, I wonder how many times we do that. I wonder how many things we're told that we don't know the reality of. Every time you think that, there's more generic action movie cliches. Every time it tries to get deeper, it pulls back. It doesn't trust itself enough to go all in. And that really hurts the movie. If they would have went with their gut, if they would have went with what they were trying to do, what they were trying to say, I really would have recommended this movie to everyone. Because there really was a hint of something good here. Something great here. But instead, we got a barely above average action movie with really good performances, but really bad writing. No, actually, I take that back. The writing wasn't bad. They had the potential to write something great, and they just lacked the guts to do it. They could have had a vision, and I think they did have a vision. They just didn't have the will to go through with it. And I don't know if that was a writer decision. I don't know if that was an executive decision, because I understand now that with cancel culture, things aren't as easy. Everything is a risk. Everything you post, everything you say, everything you think even. People will literally insinuate what you're thinking, and they'll try to bury you because of it. And movies are big financial risks. So I kind of get not taking them. But with how bad Morbius was, and how by the numbers it was, this movie being just the same disappointed me. I really wanted to love this movie. I really wish that they went as far as they could have, as far as I think they wanted to. But in the end, they didn't. So if you want to watch a good action movie, I can say that this has good action. I can say that this has good performances. I can say that this has good potential. But I'm not going to sit here and say you need to watch this film. So whether you choose to watch The Contractor or whether you don't is entirely up to you. But I am going to say that I watched it and I don't regret it. I loved seeing Ben and Chris in a movie again together. I loved seeing their chemistry yet again together. And I loved seeing that they wanted to take a risk here. That there is still some spark in somebody somewhere where they wanted to do something more. And it gives me hope for the rest of the movies that are going to come out this year. It gives me hope for the rest of the action movies that are going to come out this year. And it gives me hope for whatever next project Ben and Chris do together. So, I'm glad I hired The Contractor. Thank you.